Hey guys, how's it going? Today we've got several things going on. We've got a gator full of beautiful plants to put out in the garden, two of which are brand new varieties to me, which is always fun. Paul is working on cleaning up and mulching the top of the hillside out in the north garden, which up to this point has looked so rough. So I'm very excited for that to be done. But we are gonna start off before we plant by painting out a walkway and the patio area behind the stream, because we are gonna get started on that project. And I thought I would just show you what we're gonna do. We'll paint the line together so that you can see a definite before shot of what this area looks like. I say before shot like it needs to be improved. It doesn't, absolutely does not need to be improved. However, after living with the stream and pond area for a little while, you just kind of learn where you like to sit, where the best shade is. So that's what we're doing. We're just kind of tweaking it a bit. So see this spot where our chairs are completely leaning? This is where we like to sit. It's right underneath the shade of the Sensation box elder tree, and it's in the shade for most of the day, and we just enjoy it. The kids like to play in this space because it's more shallow. And if we twirl to the right, this spot is a little bit deeper, but it's still shallow, not like the main part of the pond over, toward the far end there. So some fish up here. Oh, it's so fun to see the baby koi. See the little baby orange ones in there? Anyway, what we've decided to do is actually not going to require too much moving of things, a few plants and then some soil. But we are going to carve out, starting about with these two boulders over, we're going to carve this section out and lower it so that we can have a little stone patio seating area. And there will also be a pathway, which I've mentioned before. I think I've mentioned all this before, so I'm sorry. Things are on repeat sometimes, but there's a pathway that will branch off of the back one and come this way. And what we'll do is have a little stacked stone wall around the perimeter. So I'm just gonna have to move, which I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just painting the line, but we've got a hosta and a blueberry muffin viburnum, a Montana moss juniper, some lupins that look sketch. I don't know about those. We've got a little, what's that called? Lithidora, little blue blooms, Grace Ward, is that right? And then some iris and one oak leaf hydrangea. So the pathway will come here, right through this area, and we'll dump you off in the patio space. So let's get these chairs moved off and get our line painted. Gorgeous out here this morning. It's supposed to be high 90s today. We have 103 day after tomorrow. Hopefully we'll cool down after that. Looks better already, having the chairs gone. Do we like it? No, we don't like it. Okay, hang on. Just have a little bit more of a curve. Thankfully, if you do your lines wrong, you can just erase them. It's the beauty of painting on dirt. Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, lines are down. They start right here, and these can be adjusted a little bit too. When we get closer to actually putting the stone wall in, we can go back a little bit or forward or whatever, based on how it looks once it's dug out. But you can see it swings around that way. I wanted to leave a little bit of planting area here, and then it takes off from here, goes right over the top of this oak leaf hydrangea and out to this walkway. So right here, kind of a little gentle curve and back to the patio. I hope that is all bright enough to see. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you along for that part because this will be different shortly. And I'm so excited that this area is going to be done before fall, because when the temperatures are nice, we are out here all the time. Okay, let's go get some things planted. And these are the beautiful plants we get to work with today. Gorgeous load of stuff. So first off, the two varieties that I don't have any experience with because I've never planted these varieties. This is a new Heliopsis out this year called Touch of Blush. Look at the leaf variegation. We have Bit of Honey out in our garden, and if we happen by that area, I will show you what it looks like. It's a phenomenal performer, and this is just a little bit of a different color. I would say that the variegation isn't quite as bright on these. It's a little bit more creamy. I don't know, maybe if we put them right next to each other, they might look similar. But the blooms have a little bit of that blush color in the center. And they're just such amazing performers. These grow like 18 to 20 inches tall. what's the spread on these? 20-inch spread, zone 4 through 9. But I'm just so excited to have these. Based on the performance of the other ones we have, these should do real well out in a nice sunny spot out in the garden. And then we have a variety of obedient plant called, is it Rosea? Rosea? I've had a white obedient plant before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that obedient plant can be hard to contain, possibly if it's in the right setting. And I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly or if that's true. Anyway, because I did not experience that at all with the white obedient plant. I actually had it in this garden in the west side, and I had it in our townhouse garden, and it never was a problem for me. And that could be because of our drier climate. A lot of things that are termed invasive for people in more wet climates just won't spread for us because we don't have the moisture everywhere. We very much so target water our things, so they usually stay contained. Not like the sumac. Sumacs are the worst. And then we've got our Nymphofia, or red hot poker, called Hot and Cold. And I don't know what it is about this. I usually don't go for orange flowers, but I think it's this creamy yellow. It just has a really pleasing look to me. And I've had this variety before. And it was eventually relocated to a friend's garden because we had to tear up the area where it was at. And that's kind of been the destiny for several different varieties in our garden. So I'm very excited to have this one back. It grows upwards of about 3 feet tall, and I forgot to even go over any of the stats of this one. I think this one grows 3 feet tall as well. 3 to 4 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide, zone 3. Blooms midsummer through early fall, which is so awesome. So this one also grows 30 to 36 inches tall and can spread out 2 to 2.5 feet, and they really do create a striking accent in the garden. I love the grassy leaves because even when they're not in bloom, they just look like an ornamental grass. And you can see all of these fresh bloom stalks coming up, which is so fun. There was a little baby one on one of the, yeah, look at this. Look how cute those are. And these are a zone 5 through 9. Then we've got a couple of the Calycanthus called Aphrodite. And I want to say at this point we have 4 or 5 out in the garden. And the first time I planted these, I planted it thinking it's not going to survive. It just looks like a plant that wouldn't survive in our area. I first saw it when we got to stay in the little cottage at the display gardens for Color Choice Shrubs in Michigan. And I was in awe at the way the plant looked. The leaves were so glossy, the flowers were fragrant and big. And I just thought, well, I'll try it and see how it does. And turns out it does like our area. And anything with a luster to the leaf just brings a lushness, especially in a drier spot. You can see the bloom right here. Look at how pretty these are. And I guess it depends on where you're at, but they can take on a little bit of a different scent. In some areas, they don't have much scent at all. In ours, they smell like grapes. They smell like grapes that have been warming on the vine, which I think is pretty nice. There's the tag right there. They can grow pretty good size, like 5 to 10 feet tall and wide, I think. Yeah, 5 to 10 feet tall and wide, zone 5 through 9, and they bloom throughout the summertime. And then we've got a couple of grasses. This is a type of miscanthus. We just planted a couple of these in the pots by the flower shed. Look at the plumes when you see the light shining through them. Isn't that gorgeous? So it's called Red Chief, and this variety will grow 6 feet tall by 3 feet wide. Hardy down to zone 5. I just love this for winter interest. Well, late summer through winter. Gorgeous. So anyway, that's what we're going to be working on this morning. So let's head out into the garden. You know what? I feel like we could use a grass in here. Like right in here. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? Ooh, or maybe one of the Aphrodites. Let's try this first. Maybe both. Maybe we can squeeze them both in. That's pretty nice right there. Let's see this. I think we're just going to go with the Calycanthus here because you can see the panicum. That's a Cheyenne sky kind of through this area. I think that's enough grass texture, but I did grab this one because I think this one would be beautiful right back here in this little hole that we got going. Look at that perfection. Yes, I love it. I love when you find that perfect thing. Let's get these in. Tons of rocks right here, like big ones. Okay, here's the calycanthus, first one planted, and I think I know where the second one's gonna go. And these are the new delphiniums we planted earlier on this season. They're so pretty. Can't remember the variety name off the top of my head, but they're not staked, and look at them, staying upright. So awesome. And then just down the way, we've got our grass tucked in. Gorgeous. So let's grab this other calycanthus, and I think I've got a spot for the other grass. These are easy to place. Look at that. That's an aster right there. It looks like a giant kochia weed right now, but it will soon burst forth with purple flowers. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I think I want to tuck this one in right back behind these iris. Right in here. Yeah, I think that would be nice to have a nice glossy green shrub right in this area. And then right in front of it, we'll have the Siberian iris, which this one's a purple. So that'll be beautiful. I don't think that they'll overlap bloom time, but if they did, it would be pretty. Okay, so this one I'm thinking right back in here, because we've got some of the reminiscent pink roses, so we need to deadhead those, and then a weigela that we planted earlier this season. But it would be nice to have that grassy texture kind of carried on, so the other one's down the way, and then there'll be another one, and they're big enough to where, I mean, they definitely make a statement on their own. So I think that would be a really nice texture right there. We'll just keep working on filling this little spot up. Pretty time of day. Okay, rounding the rows, you can see the beautiful grass and the calycanthus just behind it. Perfect. And from the other angle, you can see the morning light comes in from this side. I think that's really, really nice. I want to put some kind of big deciduous shade right in here to kind of be a canopy over this whole section. So I need to figure that out. I had an Indian magic crabapple right here, and we have no idea what happened to it, but it leafed out, it bloomed this spring, and then it just crisped up and stopped growing and died. We investigated the drip around it. We investigated, I mean, there was no insect damage, apparent insect damage. There wasn't a water issue that I could see. It was just one of those like unexplained plant deaths. But in the end, while the Indian Magic is a gorgeous tree, I think I want something that gets a little bit bigger than that one does. So once that's here, we'll be able to build further this way. But these, like the size of these two things we put in today, should be just perfect. We're on our way to go look at the bit of honey heliopsis, and I wanted to come check our plantings from yesterday. They look so good, you guys. Oh, I love this new little spot. And I was thinking last night, in this area, because the grass is so tall, the pot looks really good to the right. But if we do something different, we could center the pot and have it be really super duper formal, and then have something a little bit lower in it so it doesn't mask the windows. But for now, it works perfect with the grass, and we'll pop some annuals in there. Maybe we can just play with annuals in this spot and just shift the pot depending on what we decide to do. I don't know. I'm just enjoying this so much. And it's been here less than 24 hours. Beautiful. Look at this. Oh. Okay, here's the bit of honey. It's beautiful. And these have a little bit fluffier blooms. I want to see how this compares in terms of variegation. Just set it like right in. Oh, it's pretty darn close. Okay, so here's the variegation on the bit of honey versus the variegation on the touch of blush. That's pretty much identical. So we're just dealing with a different flower. So there's a bit of honey, a little bit fluffier, and then there's the touch of blush. Oh, awesome. Isn't that the most beautiful little spot though? I really have enjoyed that plant there. Oh, good morning. How are you? Good. They were still asleep when I came out to get started this morning. I wonder how the heliopsis would look right underneath the agastache up there. Let's go see. Ooh, or right in here. That would be pretty. What if we put them here? This area needs a little bit of something anyway. A little bit of brightness and a light colored leaf. We've got Midnight Masquerade penstemon in here. a little bit of the cottontail yarrow still left. It's kind of fizzling out through the years. It used to be a huge drift, but isn't that a neat plant? It looks just like a large baby's breath. Yeah, I think a drift right here in front of the new denim and lace Russian sage we planted this year would be beautiful. There they are planted, and they just bring such a sparkle and a brightness to this area. I think they're perfect. I think having that touch of yellow every once in a while really just makes a space come together. All right, guys, just 2 varieties left. Okay, for these obedient plants, because they get quite tall, I want to tuck them in right in here. I want to make a big drift of them because I think they'd be really pretty. They'd add some nice color. Actually, I think maybe right in here. And they would be the right size, the right height in the end. We've got a flame willow and a Norway spruce back here, and I am trying to make sure that the back areas are full because we drive this service road all the time. And let me walk you down a little way. So you've got some work to do here, but we did plant some Agastaki earlier on this season. We've got some iris in here, big old Leyland cypress we planted this year. We've got some aronia, and there's some orchid flash delosperma, some spirea, and there's still some spaces back in here, but we are working on it. Do any of you guys remember when I was cleaning out a flower bed and found a little start of a coralberry? It had 2 branches and a couple little roots, and we planted it right here. Now look at it. Amazing. But yeah, we've got some drops of Jupiter oregano over here and some salvia and a beautiful grass, chautauqua, hardy geraniums, dogwood. I think it's important to have all the spaces look pretty. So I think it's going to be a perfect one to add back here. There they are. I can't wait to see what these do. It's also kind of a safe choice to put them back here, depending on how they behave. If they do tend to want to run around, this is the perfect spot for them to do that, as opposed to tucking them into a tighter area in a flower bed where I want the other things to thrive and grow as well. So if this variety proves to spread more than the other type that I have tried, this will be a great location for it, and I would be happy to let it take over this space. Okay, all we have left are the red hot pokers. Okay, we are gonna go in with our red hot pokers right here. I think this would be a really nice spot for it. I've got a lot of oranges and that kind of color tone along this back lane right here, so I think it'll fit in perfectly. In fact, these right here are the Firefly Peach Sky Yarrows. A lot of spent blooms on them, but if we come around this way, I can show you what one of the fresh blooms looks like. Right here, it's got more orange on it, and then they kind of fade to yellow, and then they kind of dry out like this. And I usually leave them up because they look so pretty during the winter time. I think we can do a few of them just kind of swinging around this birch tree. Those look so fun right there. I love it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. I don't know why, but those are just perfect right there. So again, these will spread upwards of 30 inches wide. And when I had this variety before, it definitely did. It made a statement. So I think having these three right here, it'll definitely show up. Also, while I was over here, this is what I'm smelling in the air, you guys. Look at this. They're not quite ready yet. These are the white Niagaras, but these are the ones we're gonna juice. And they're beautiful. I keep taste testing them, and I did just a minute ago. Still a little tart. Our table grapes are looking beautiful too. And these are getting really close. They're actually really sweet. These are good to eat now, but they will turn more red. Oh, and as the day heats up, the smell intensifies over here. It's just the most awesome thing. And you guys, that is gonna do it for our portion of the projects today. So I'm going to leave you with what Paul is working on. And it's always satisfying to watch a very unruly, messy area come together and look beautiful with mulch, which means I will probably be out there planting here really soon, because a clean, fresh mulch space, I just want to be in it and I want to be planting in it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.